It's the S6 from the last two videos. A few things have changed with this since that video. The first thing is that I've managed to replace that awful temporary adhesive with some of the properly cut stuff that arrived, and so now instead of having ugly black squares, I have ugly black residue left by them. So, good enough. The second thing is that I managed to update it to Android 7 using Odin, and that actually worked. At the end of the last video, I mentioned that I was planning to get another one of these with a cracked screen or something and swap the boards between them. So I did. And then I got carried away. So both of these phones came from the same lot, which ended up costing me $50. This one has a cracked screen and faulty touch, which I'm actually a little skeptical of. It's very difficult to kill touch on a Samsung phone. And then this one has a failed battery. This one I am going to test in this video. I'm not going to fix it. It's going to be a future video. But this one, I am going to pull its motherboard out, put it in here, and hopefully have an unlocked working S6, working S6 Edge in decent condition. And yeah, that's the plan. This thing is cracked on the back as well as the front. It's quite beat up on the frame, but the board should work in here. It was advertised as working, although I have not yet tested it. So let's get to testing these devices. I'm going to start with the black one. Supposedly the battery in here has failed. Turned on. It's got an older logo down here, so I think this is probably running Android 5 or 6. These are both T-Mobile variants instead of AT&T, so they should allow me to... Hello. They should allow me to do an OTA update even without a SIM card in them. I think. Oh, it just died. Okay, well, yeah, they did say the battery was dead. Let's get this guy plugged in. 10%. Well, it wouldn't even boot up, so... Yeah, battery's definitely failed on that. Let's see, will you boot up? Yes. You can definitely see some screen burn, and even now on the boot screen, because it's very pink instead of white. Oh, boy. Look at the keyboard. You can see the keyboard. That is some pretty bad OLED burn, then. This one doesn't have carrier branding. It doesn't show a T-Mobile logo, even though supposedly these are both T-Mobile variants. Yeah, SMG925T. It is a T-Mobile one. And so is this one, but for whatever reason, it doesn't show the logo. Samsung. Okay, well, let's let that boot. Oh, Android is starting. You can see, in addition to the glass being cracked, it's entirely missing right here, which is pretty impressive. What do you mean the touch doesn't work? Touch totally works. Okay, well, let's get this one set up and see whether it works. It just shut off. Okay, the battery was dead. Well, let's see whether this one will boot now. Made it farther than it did last time. Okay, we are at the setup screen. Let's get this guy set up and we can see, make sure everything works. We can see what Android version it's on, all that stuff. No, I do not want to sell all of my organs to Samsung. I guess I technically now own an S6 Edge in every single color, although one of them is a little screwed up. I don't know what they meant when they said the touch didn't work, because, you know, for the 10 seconds that it ran before the battery died, the touch clearly does work, so whatever. It's really laggy. I think it's just because it just got factory reset. See what version of Android it's on. 7.0. Weird, because some of this UI looks like an older style than the other S6 running on 7.0. But yeah, this one seems to work other than that battery. Okay, yeah, that one seems to be working other than the failed battery. So we are going to plug in the gold one. Ooh, the screen looks really bad. That's a different charging screen. This must be running like a different firmware. No, it's very strange. I don't really know what's going on. Looks like an S8 or something. Touch seems to work fine. Face recognition. Iris scanner, what is that? Why does it have more features? I don't understand. I thought they didn't add those until the Note 7. I don't know what this phone is doing. No password, please. Oh, the touch is a little dead. Okay, yeah, it doesn't... Oh, I have to set up a password because the touch has failed over the no thank you button. Okay, well. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the touch is dead. Yeah, the software looks different. I'd say it's an older version, except it really looks newer, although I thought both of these were already on the latest version because they're on 7. No. What? It's got touch keys on the bottom? It's like running... Oh my god. It's like running One UI or something. It's really slow. G950F. Model number, it says the model number is SMG950F, but it's a... First of all, it says G925T on it, and a G950F is like an S7. That is strange. Software information. It is on Android 7 running Samsung Experience 8.1. With a security patch level July 1st, 2017. Why does it have touch keys? It's like it has a physical home button. Something's weird with this phone. It has Bixby? They didn't add that until the S8. I don't know what this is doing. Settings. No, not settings. It's very slow. Maybe it's got a custom ROM on it? See what happens if we go in the test menu. It doesn't work. Well, this warrants some further investigation. Like, it looks like an S8, but it's an S6. Very weird. So here we are, a few minutes later, actually a bit more than a few minutes later, but I've been messing with all of these phones, and I finally figured out what was so weird about the software on the gold one. And the answer is it was running a custom ROM. I don't know why it took me that long to realize. I guess I'd never seen a custom ROM that, like, mimics a stock ROM that's known for not being very good. But yeah, it's a custom ROM that's designed to make it look like an S8. So I flashed the stock ROM on it, and I had a little bit of trouble getting it to boot. It would just get stuck on the boot screen. But after fiddling with it for a while, I got it working. I did end up taking the back off of it, and here it is. Here's the back off the gold one. It's completely cracked. And you can see at the top, the coloring just came off once again. It seems to not be adhered on all that well. So all of these phones were pretty much working as advertised. This one is the one that I've had for a while. It's fully working. This one is cracked, but otherwise working. I was expecting the touch to be completely dead, but it's not. It's just dead at the very bottom right here. And this one is fully working, but has a really bad battery life, which is why it's plugged in right now. If I unplug it, it'll probably die almost instantly. It still says 100%, but like, you know, let's go to the home screen, open up the apps list. You know, maybe go back into, oh, there it goes, it's already dead. You get the idea. So my plan is to take the board out of this one, put it in here, and put a new battery in here eventually. This board, it did have a custom ROM on it, and I have flashed the stock one, but it'll still have Trip Knox, which is maybe fine, because that way I can just use this one to mess around with other custom ROMs, try to get Android 10 running on here or something, and then I'll leave this one completely stock. By the way, this black one, yeah, just shut off. Let's plug it back in, see what kind of battery it thinks it has left. 75%. Yeah, sure. I'd also figured I should go into the test menu on the gold phone and just sort of visualize where the touch is dead on here. You can see there's sort of a band right there. It sort of continues because it thinks you've left your finger off. It thinks you've taken your finger off and put it back on, but you can definitely see this whole band right here has no touch. Also, you can get an idea of how bad the OLED burn-in is. It actually is a bit worse in person compared to on camera, but you can see a keyboard there. You've got what looks like a texting app UI. You can sort of see the time up there, and then there's this weird black splotch in the screen. And here, the glass is missing entirely. It's just like some adhesive and like the OLED. Yeah, this screen is pretty screwed up. So now I'm going to do the motherboard swap between the gold one and the white one. So I've already shut both phones off, but I'm actually going to factory reset the board in the white one. And now we can power off the phone. I've already removed the back of the gold phone, so I'm now going to remove the one on the white phone. I'm hoping that I can reuse this adhesive that's already on here, at least temporarily. I have ordered some new stuff. It hasn't arrived yet, but until then, I want to at least get the back mostly stuck on so I can sort of use the phone. So let's remove all the screws from the back of both phones. Okay, screws are all done. Let's get the frame off. I got the frame off. Now let's do it on the gold one. Remember the SIM tray. I forgot a screw. Wow, look at how bad the side of this screen is. Jeez, that is damaged. That is impressive. So now we're going to have to swap the motherboards between the phones, and I'm also going to have to swap the charging ports because these are slightly different variants. The different carriers on Samsung devices are actually more different than just the software. They actually have slightly different hardware, and for whatever reason, the charging ports are not compatible between the S6 on different carriers. They look the same and the connector is the same, but it won't work if you swap it. So I'm going to swap those two, and that's fine because the charging port on the gold one is working perfectly fine. And then we can put them back together. So we can disconnect all the cables going to the motherboard on both phones, starting with the battery, so there's no power. And finishing with these little antenna wires. And that is disconnected. Now let's, oh, I don't want to lose all my screws. Now let's swap the charging ports. Oh, right, the charging ports are held in with screws that I should take out. That one is out. Let's get this one out. Okay, so one last thing I'm going to do before I reassemble it is I have grabbed the original battery out of the white phone, and I'm going to transfer this little sticker here. It's not necessary for the phone to work, but it just has like the model number and the serial number and other stuff like that, and it's kind of nice just to have that there. I also noticed that on both the original battery from the white phone and the original battery from the gold phone, this sticker is really poorly applied. Also, the battery looks slightly different, like the Samsung logo is right at the top here. It's sort of near lower down here, and the font is smaller on this one, and the sticker is thinner on this one. Whatever. We're going to peel this sticker up. and just stick it onto our new battery. Well, I mean, I guess actually we want this sticker on the new battery. I am very smart, trust me. Let's try to peel this off and reapply it slightly better than it was. There we go, that's more tolerable. And let's put the sticker from the white phone on the gold phone's battery, because that's the board that is going to go in it. Okay, let's reassemble some phones. Charging port is going to go back in there. Make sure to put it in its little cable management place here. Now let's get the board, just check. Yep, it is a T-Mobile variant, so that's the one we want. Connect it to the charging port here. Okay, with that in, I'm going to connect the little cables here. The phone should now work. So let's short the power button pins here. That's good. It turned on. Yeah, let's go in the test menu real quick. That's not how you get to the test menu. So to open this menu, you go into the phone app and you type *#0*#, and it opens up. So yeah, there's a couple things that aren't going to work because like the speaker isn't going to work because the speaker isn't connected right now. The wireless charging isn't going to work because it's not connected right now. But for the most part, the phone does seem to be working, so I'm going to try and shut it down here. We can put the AT&T board and charging port in the cracked frame. With this assembled enough to turn on, let's make sure it turns on. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I just wasn't shorting the pins well enough. Yeah, this phone's been reset. I reset this board before installing it in here, but it seems to work. Touch work. Well, the touch doesn't work, but the touch is not more broken than it was before. So I'm going to shut this one down. So screws back in. Time to give the phone one last test before I seal it all back up. Now the speaker works. Phone does appear to be working. I'm going to give it a full test off camera, and then I'm going to put it back together the rest of the way. So it's all working. Now it's time to put it back together. Now I don't have any new replacement adhesive. I've ordered some, hasn't arrived yet. So I'm going to try to reuse the old stuff. It's not going to be all that strong, but it should work well enough to at least keep the phone from like falling apart in your pocket or something until I can get some new stuff and make it stay together like it should. And there we go. That's what I call together-ish. Now to finish assembling the gold one. Okay, so let's put that charging port screws back in. Oh, put the charging port screws back in. I should probably test this before I put the screws in. Oh well, better late than never. Uh-oh. Let's plug it in. Okay. It's not completely dead. Power button's not working. Ah. Let's put in the screws near the power button to hopefully, like... Hey, look, power button works now. Oh, that's good. I thought I'd completely killed it. Shut up. Okay, good. Touch seems to still work. Let's finish putting the screws in. Probably unplug it. Okay, screws are in. Now, I'm deciding whether to put the back cover on. Here is the original back cover. You can see I actually scraped the coloring off of some of it to just experiment with making it clear. And yeah, it was super easy. The coloring is barely even held on. So this seems to just be a thing with S6s, not just the white one. So I'm going to stick this on. Once again, it's just reusing the old adhesive, which is very not sticky anymore. It's not going to do a very good job of holding it on, but I don't really care because I'm not going to use this phone. It's sort of a parts device, and I'm probably just going to be taking it apart again at some point in the future. I don't really want it to be held on all that securely. You know, that's sort of held together. Close enough. So, here are the three phones. I've got one, which is now fully working, good to go. You could use this daily if you wanted. I've got one that needs a bit of work. The battery doesn't work, but that's a pretty cheap thing to fix, and I could be able to get it fully working. And then we've got one that's like a parts phone, and I could use this if I need other S6 parts. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how all three of these phones turned out. Once I fix this, all three phones together will have cost about $90, and the two working ones will be worth about $90 each because they're in quite nice shape and they will have brand new batteries in them. So yeah, that was a video. It wasn't all that well made or fun to watch, but it was a video, and I bought some phones and I fixed some phones. Bye.